So this is from Mark right here. And if you don't know who Mark is, Mark was actually one of us.
One of us. Google gobble, one of us. We accept that one of us. Google gobble, one of us.
Mark was one of us, man. I can't tell you how many times I depended on Mark's Excel spreadsheets throughout Destiny 1 and Destiny 2. From time to kill values to seeing what the meta was. He was the guy, man. And he eventually became weapon designer at Bungie. And I think he's actually like really risen up through the ranks, designed a bunch of different weapons for Bungie, has gone on to continue balance and sandbox and stuff. So Mark knows his stuff. And I love that he was someone that was plucked out of the community who has gone on to do great things at Bungie. But right here, he says people seem to have some real weird ideas for what happens when a studio fails and who ends up getting hurt the most by it. You aren't punishing who you think you are when you're rooting for this stuff to happen. And I think this is in regards, of course, to Marathon here recently. And I would say some folks want Marathon to fail, right? Can I get a poll on that real quick? Can I actually get a poll on that real quick? Do you want Marathon to fail? We got mainly Destiny players in here right now. Do you want Marathon to fail? Well, and really so right here, this is followed by Zach here. Yeah, the punishment does not start at the top. As we've seen before, we march on and do the best we can with what we're given. On a side note, proud of you, man, and thanks for always asking for feedback on your guns. It makes my day every time. Can't make the guns without the input of gamers. Zachary is completely right, too. Rarely do you see anyone at the top ever get affected. Do you want Marathon to fail? 20% says yes. Okay. All right. That's actually not bad. I mean, I was expecting worse, to be honest. I was expecting that to be at least 70%, 80% of you guys saying yes. So look, here's the thing. I'm not going to get into whether or not the Destiny community should or shouldn't be salty about some things. Okay. Maybe the Destiny community is a little salty. They don't have dedicated servers. Maybe there's some features inside of Marathon they wish they could have seen. But there's also a ton of features not present in Marathon that Marathon desperately needs, not even in comparison to Destiny, but just in comparison to other extraction shooters. So if we were to sit down today and say, hey, let's just spitball real quick. All right, we're saving Bungie. How would you do it, chat? How would you save Marathon? Delete it. Not an option. I love it. I love where your mind is. Not an option. Number one, hire AntiReal. You know, honestly, just let me just say this across the board. Just hire anyone and everyone like that is necessary. Even if it's like a single decal pulled from somebody's, just to avoid this potential blow up, just hire them. You know what I mean? Because the last thing you want is for this game to roll out and another artist comes forward and goes, oh yeah, that's my design right there. You know what I mean? Respectfully, Marathon. Look, just play this game with me this morning, guys. This Monday morning. Play this game with me. You've been charged with saving Marathon, Destiny community. You've been charged with saving Marathon. And I'm gonna be honest. I think you fuckers are the only ones that can. I mean, I'm not saying, look, I'm not saying the Tarkov community is not gonna swoop in and save Marathon, all right? Or the Arc Raider community. I don't think so. Really, the only people that can really save Marathon at this point is the Destiny community, man. Look, you gotta get Destiny players into Marathon. You can earn an exotic and emblem in game to Destiny 2. There is going to be a way to connect your accounts that when you earn this prestige exotic inside of Marathon, it transfers to Destiny 2. Brother. No. You fucking know it. You fucking know it, dude. You know that shit. That's your idea. That's my idea, Player Potato. And you know what? Make it disgusting. Make it nasty, brother. And look. It could be something like, Pocket Infinity or, Zalo Supercell or something. But hold on. It's got to be earnable. It's only one item and you can earn it inside of Marathon. I don't know how you would earn it. Okay. That would be so bad because it would grab you by the balls. All right. We need ball grabbing fucking suggestions today, guys. No dancing around the edges here. There needs to be an exotic emblem drop inside of Marathon that is transferable to Destiny 2. The moment your account in Marathon comes into contact with that exotic, boom, it now opens up in collections inside of Destiny. Every Destiny player would be like, God, dog it, I gotta play this piece of shit. I gotta go play this fucking extraction shooter. All right, number 3. I think this is a given. Solo queue and proxy chat. You just, these are just given features. Just add them. Shouldn't even be a brainstorming method with it. Just add them. Make it happen. All right. There shouldn't even be any. That's such an easy one at this point. Number 4, I think you need a PvE, some sort of PvE option. Now, the thing is, though, that goes completely against extraction shooters. How would you balance the PvE option? Because you want people loading up into the map for PvP. The only thing I can think of is the PvE option has an overwhelming amount of ads. Tarkov has a PvE mode too. Really? So how does Tarkov balance their PvE mode? How do they incentivize people to do PvP still when a PvE mode exists? They don't do anything to incentivize playing PvE at all. And I'm a PvE enjoyer on Tarkov. Okay, well, we'll just leave it at this. I don't know the various options for PvE mode. I didn't even know Tarkov did that. Everyone seems to be telling me right now that you can earn the exact same loot in its PvE variant as you could in PvP. It's kind of surprising. And that there's no variation in ads. It's the same. It's kind of crazy. Anyways, add a PvE option. It just needs to happen. PvE does have a higher concentration of ads. That's what I would say. I would make this more ads. I mean, I would just load it down, brother. I would do like the moment you load in, you just start getting messed up. Holy God, y'all got him thinking you get PvP with PvE earned gear. Oh my God. So Steve, talk to me, Steve. Is the gear you earned in Tarkov's PvE, can you bring it inside of PvP or no? Well, that's a big fucking point, guys. That's a really big fucking point. You think you would have mentioned that at the very beginning here. Oh my Lord, that's a great fucking point. You start off with that shit. Don't fucking sneak that shit in at the end. All right. Do you guys want that? Inside of Destiny, I love earning stuff in PvE, bringing it into PvP. And I love earning stuff in PvP and bringing it to PvE. Now, you don't have the risk of losing those things. But do y'all want separation? Can I get a poll on this? Do y'all want separation? As in, you have a completely different character playing PvE, the PvE mode, and a completely different character playing the PvP mode. PvE gear and PvP mode. 33% is saying yes. 66% is saying no. Okay. All right, so most people are saying, I'm gonna leave it at this. Most people are saying PvE gear should not be in PvP. 2/3, roughly, almost 2/3. Again, that's something that we look at Tarkov and maybe some other extraction shooters, see how they handle it. I personally love the idea of a PvE player spending thousands of hours grinding for gear, okay? Bring it in inside of PvP. We kill them and take their shit. You know what I'm saying? I love that. You guys are against it? That's understandable. Y'all seen what works in other extraction shooters. I think that would just make our life so much better. Because you know, man, PvE players, they may not have the PvP skills, brother, but they've got the grind mentality. They will kill those ads. They will kill them every day, man. They will commit hundreds, if not thousands of hours to the task. And they will eventually find those prestige gears, those prestige pieces. And then they take them inside of PvP. All right, change number 5. Hold up. Change number 5. What would you guys like? Oh, a lockbox. Yeah, I think a lockbox. A lockbox just makes sense. Even if it's just one item you can save, dude. You know, you got that one key. It's pretty brutal. There's no lockbox currently in Marathon. You die, you lose everything. You lose everything. There's no safety net. You don't have a single item that you save with you. Not hardcore enough for a lockbox though, in my opinion. That's a great point. So I can't judge it because we've only played the alpha. I don't know how crazy items get or keys get. You know what I'm saying? I want to put a social hub here, guys, but I don't really know if it's something that's A, feasible from now until September or whenever, or B, can we just get a poll on that? Do y'all want a social space? Can we get a poll on that? If it's going to be a social space, it would need to be something on the level of like the tower. You know what I mean? You load them into the tower. You got your various factions that you go pick up the quest from directly. I just don't see that happen. 20 glitches running around the tower would look cheesy. Oh, that's a great point. That's a great point because we have we're limited to our 4 runners. Oh, brother. Chat, how impactful would be making it free to play be? What if you just made one map free to play? That way you still have, on the higher tier maps, you have to pay for the game and therefore you have a paywall, but you make just one map free to play. You really open up the cheaters when you do free to play. Yes, I know everyone here wants free shit. Don't get me wrong, I like free shit too. Keep in mind, Trials used to be free to play, and that shit was a nightmare, okay? I'm hoping the anti-cheat's gonna be better here, but it was a nightmare. I think make one map free to play. You can even do the Dire Marsh, you know what I mean? But the higher tier maps after that point, make it paid. Chat, something I notice, and y'all tell me if I'm wrong here. The exotics, which are actually called prestige items inside of Marathon, does it physically change your character in any way? Because they're like implants and stuff. It does. So first, I think that again, we just don't know how many type of prestige items there are going to be. I don't know what the entire suite is going to be. Is it just me that cares about this kind of stuff? I don't know. Like, I like it whenever I wore, you know, certain exotics in Destiny. You know, it's just like sitting there chilling and you're like, you've got your kit on. I don't want the cosmetics just to be what you buy from the store. I think Bungie with Destiny, it's got a decent enough system where you have your drip in game. You can of course buy things from the store, but the exotics themselves are a major focal point. And then not only that, you will approach certain characters differently based on their gear. You know, if I'm up against a hunter inside a PvP or something, and like I see a certain exotic they are using both in their weapon, but especially in their gear, I may approach that differently. I just didn't see anything changing whenever you put on exotics inside of Marathon. Isn't your identity fleshed out through the gear designated towards your playstyle? Yeah, it's the gear definitely is what fleshes out. There's no visual representation of that. Maybe that's not that big of a priority. Okay, maybe it's not. This is the Destiny player in me that's bringing in these biases. But exotics, I would like to see more of them and have some visible representation of what those are. All right, we're getting to the bottom of this list, guys. Give me something really juicy here. Crafting. I wouldn't mind crafting, but they're just, at least in my experience playing the alpha, guys, there just didn't seem like enough to even have a crafting system. I would love a crafting system, but again, this is going to tie into like, we need more stuff. Tarkov and Delta Force have crafting. Yeah, and they also have a ton of items. A ton of items. The only thing I could think of is like, what if there was a way for you to eventually craft exotics? Just hear me out. What if there was over a long, lengthy period of time of collecting all types of materials, you could potentially craft some prestige items? No, never do that. Okay, all right. We'll just leave it at crafting. More environmental hazards such as aliens, plant life, etc. So would y'all just say world building? And look, there's a lot that goes into this, guys. I think different alien factions, you need to be very, very true to the lore. Marathon's campaign, I haven't played it, but I've watched some of it. The different factions, some of them are very eerie, supernatural even. And correct me if I'm wrong, but that was the vibe that I got, almost creepy. And I think Bungie should explore that in the world building. And also in the same vein of world building, I think that there should probably be world events. And maybe if you don't want to have it completely random, maybe certain times of the week or something like that where a world event happens, where it's like those alien factions are suddenly attacking you and the UESC bots. You know what I mean? All right, so this is it. This is what we got. Saving Marathon. Number 1, hire artists. Just hire them. I don't care if it was like someone scribbled something on a napkin 12 years ago and it looks like the same shit you put in your game. Fucking hire them. 2, earn exotic emblems in game that can then be transferable to Destiny 2. This is the Destiny 2 hook. Destiny players, you're gonna hate me for this, but yes, there will be an exotic that you can earn inside of Marathon that you could then unlock for yourself inside of Destiny 2. Gotta get that hook, baby. Gotta get that hook. You guys are gonna be so pissed off about it, but you know what? When you see us running around with fucking whatever that exotic is, you'll be like, make it, you know what? I don't know if universal remote would work. I feel like the lore, you can make it work. But yeah, it's like earn universal remotes in Marathon. And then all of a sudden people running around with it inside of Destiny. Everybody be like, what the f? Look, that's a hook. That's not anything to do with the game, right? That's just to bait Destiny players. 3, solo queue and proxy chat. 4, PV option, more enemies. You guys were saying that the PV option needs to be its own standalone thing, as in you can't bring gear from PV into PvP. I personally love the idea of people grinding out PV and then taking that gear and risking it all inside of PvP. Just my thoughts. 5, Lockbox. Bungie still seems to be dancing around this. 6, 1 map free to play, and that will at least allow everyone to dip a toe and try it out, man, and keep the player base healthy. And then the other maps can be paid maps, which will serve as a paywall for potential cheaters. Number 7, exotics. More. Just need more. And I want them to be visible. You know, I want my character to change. I think it means something when you can wear Orpheus Rig, Stompies, Pyrogale, Yeet. I mean, one-eye mask. Imagine if a one-eye mask Titan back when it first dropped and you didn't know if that Titan was using one-eye mask. You always knew though, because you would see that fucking mask. You'd be like, son of a bitch, I'm staying away from him. I feel like we just need to be able to visibly see these exotics in some way. And then of course that adds to the drip game. 8, some sort of crafting. No, that's a tough one. And then 9, world building. That really dips into the lore, and world events goes into that as well. That's it. That's our list, guys. I will say this, man. I don't want Bungie to fail. Of course, I would love a D3 right now, but it is what it is. And you know, I'm not sitting here rooting for the downfall of Marathon or Bungie. At the same time, though, we're not just gonna eat shit. And if you know, and when I say eat shit, like if there's obviously better games out there, no one in their right mind is gonna peddle this. If Arc Raiders is doing everything that Marathon is doing and better, then everybody's just gonna play Arc Raiders. And that's nothing personal. It's just objective. If other games are objectively better, then they're just better. It's not that we pray for the downfall of Bungie or, you know, we want Marathon to fail. It's just if other games are just objectively better, then they are just better.
Slap that like button like your mama told you right.